So today we're going to do a review of the Netflix movie, The Midnight Sky, starring George Clooney and directed by George Clooney. Now, he is a fantastic actor, but he's also a really good director too. He directed the movie The Idols of March, which I love that movie. And he also directed the Hulu TV series Catch-22, which is a really good series. So now we're going to review this movie and see if it's worth the watch. And also, we're doing a review. So you can consider this to be a spoiler. So there's two different parts to this movie. On one end, you have George Clooney. He's like a terminal patient, and he's on planet Earth, and there's an event going on that's an apocalyptic event that's pretty much bringing the end to humanity. But he's trying to get in contact with the space station. And then you have the space station who is exploring this new moon that's around Jupiter that I guess is perfect to inhabit life and will be a good replacement for Earth. And I guess when George Clooney was younger, he discovered that new moon. So he's the reason why they're even out there. So George Clooney is trying to get in contact with the space station. He elects to stay behind from whatever the event is that's pretty much killing the planet. Everybody else is evacuated. Now there's a scene where they have this woman who's looking for her daughter. She couldn't find her. This other lady assured her that she got on one of the other helicopters. She's fine. So we cut to a scene where George Clooney, an alarm goes off. George Clooney's putting out the fire, and he gets down, and there's this little girl hiding underneath one of like the counters of there's in the kitchen. So now he's like, well, you must be the little girl that the woman couldn't find. So now he's trying to get in contact with somebody that can pick this little girl. Nobody's answering, and she's not speaking at all. So at first, he's just trying to get in contact with this space station so that he can let them know what's going on Earth. And then after that, he was going to just pass away from his illness that he's suffering from. Well, now he has his little girl, so now things change. And the space station is actually on their way back to Earth. And they're trying to get in contact with Earth. Nobody's answering. They're trying to get in contact with other missions. Nobody's answering. It's a really huge issue that they're trying to get in contact with somebody and nobody's responding. So now George Clooney, so they cut back to George Clooney. He's trying to get in contact with him. He can't get in contact with anybody. He realizes that whatever the event is getting closer to their location. So he decides that he wants to move to a different location. For one, it has a stronger signal, so he might be able to get in contact with the space station. And also for two, there's like, it's in the like this mountain range that might protect them a little bit more, or it might protect them for a little bit longer if they go to this place from the event than if they just stay at their current location. So they're in the Arctic Circle. So this is a long trip and a rough trip. Of course, they have some pitfalls, and there's a scene where they actually camped out in this trailer. They're trying to just wait out a storm, and it's also nighttime, so it's actually colder. So I guess where it was at was on like a lake, or could have been. Anyway, it starts to sink. George Clooney saves little girl. He's trying to get his medication and all that out of there. He winds up getting because they're on a snowmobile. It winds up going into the water. He's in the water too, and his medication that he's using to stay alive pretty much sinks down with the snowmobile. So he winds up getting out the water. The little girl helps him out, and they're still moving forward to this place. They wind up getting there, and he gets in contact with the space station. The space station finally responds, and soon as they start talking to George Clooney, there's a meteor shower that happens, and it pretty much messes up their ship. Took out the radar, took out the communications tower. So they have to fix everything out there. So they put on their spacesuits, they go out there and they start to fix it. Everything's going good. They're even singing songs. They're having a good time. And as soon as they get finished, another meteor shower happens. So they try to get to safety to try to avoid a meteor shower. They think that they avoided it and everything's good. And we'll come to find out when the astronauts got their suit punctured, they get her inside. They lift off her helmet. All this blood comes out. Obviously, everybody knows what's about to happen, and she winds up passing away. So they finally get back in contact with George Clooney, and they get close to the planet, and then they see what's going on. And it's like the planet's like engulfed in like this like fog, and I guess the air quality is now next to zero, and you can't survive. George Clooney's telling them they need to turn around and go back to the moon on Jupiter. There's no point. Earth is doomed. Well, there's 4 of them on there, 5 if you include the one who died. Now, 2 of the astronauts, the commander and the communications officer, they're a couple, and the communication officer is actually pregnant with his child. The other 2, the one male astronaut has a family on Earth. He's missing them a lot. He feels like if they're dead, then I might as well join them, and he wants to go back to Earth. Another one, I guess, had a daughter that was the same age of the astronaut who died. She died when she was really young. He wanted to take the astronaut who died back to Earth, plus also too, I guess he didn't have any other family, so there was no point for him staying on the space station. He wanted to go ahead and die too. So they head off and they return back to Earth. They take one of the space shuttles that's attached to the space station. They head back to Earth. The other 2, who are a couple, decided that they are going to turn around and go back to the moon. As they're leaving, the one communication officer is talking to George Clooney, and she's telling him how she was the reason why he was the reason why she became an astronaut. Well, come to find out, George Clooney always knew that that was his daughter, that he never met, never spoke with, but she doesn't know that George Clooney is her father. Well, also too, the little girl that was with George Clooney was actually, she was never there. She was pretty much made up in his imagination, and she was the communication officer as a little girl. The reason why she couldn't speak is because he never spoke with her before. That was the very first time when they was speaking that he's spoken with her, so obviously she didn't know what her voice sounded like. And pretty much they head back, and that's how it ended. It was a really good movie. The visual effects were fantastic. I like how they kept it open-ended. These 2 that are headed back to the moon are pretty much like Adam and Eve. And will they be able to make it back? Will they be able to keep humanity going? They pretty much left it open-ended, and I like how they did that. Overall, it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. George Clooney knocked it out the park when it comes to this movie. And I suggest, even though you watch this and I kind of broke it down, it's a really good watch. So, in saying that, if you are new here to SEM, please hit the subscribe button, become part of this SEM Nation. Once you become part of this nation, that bell notification, you'll know when the video comes out. And like the video, please give me a thumbs up. My name is Dorian. This is SEM. Thank you guys for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. And you guys have a good day.